Hi, friends. Welcome to your Vinyasa practice. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons to this page. That would be deeply appreciated. And as you know, I don't play any music in the background for these practices so that you have the freedom and choice to play whatever soundscape you feel is fitted to move and groove your body to. So for today's practice, we are going to start off in an easy, comfortable seat. If you have a block or a blanket, you can elevate your seat higher. And as you find your seat, I invite you to close your eyes and just let the hands drop wherever they want to drop. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaws. Begin to bring an awareness into your toes. See how they feel today. Bring that awareness up into the foot arches, the calves, the hamstrings, your quads. And make your way all the way up through the belly, through the lungs, and into your heart. Your heart, which is the seat for unconditional love. Now bring your awareness up to the collarbones, to your neck, to your ears, to your mouth, to your eyes, all the way up through the crown of your head. And notice what's there for you. Bring an awareness to the cooling sensation of every inhale, followed by the warming sensation of every exhale. Let your attention be drawn towards your breath from the belly to the lungs, to the collarbones, as it exits out through your nose. Bring an expansion into your breath. And if your mind wanders in thoughts and things going on outside, bring your attention back to the breath. The breath is the mother. It brings life and life force to all things. Take a deep inhale. Exhale out through your nose. Gentle inhale. Really feel your belly expand to your lungs, to the back of your body. Perhaps even bring your hands around your hips or your rib cage. So feel that 3D sensation from the breath. And take 2 more breaths, going at your own pace. Take a deep inhale, and on our exhale, we will chant Om together, the primordial sound of the universe. Om. Softly, gently, blink your eyes open whenever you're ready. And as you come out of your easy seat, if you had a block or a blanket, go ahead and just shift that over towards the side. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders and take a couple of circles over your wrists. Integrate through the wrists, through the push of the shoulders, gripping the earth with your fingertips, perhaps even moving through your spine. And allow yourself to just be. Maybe move through the side bodies. Bring your own staple of movement and make this your movement your own. Connect your breath to your movement as you circle, and feel free to play around with different hand positions that are going to support you today. It's your practice to modify or intensify as needed. Beautiful. Find a stable tabletop position. From here, we're going to take several rounds of cat and cow. But in this cat and cow, as you teeter between the two movements, I want you to really focus on articulating the spine piece by piece. Try to avoid moving the spine as a single unit, but try to really articulate the spine through the low back all the way up through your base of your skull. So take an inhale here. On your exhale, round your shoulders down, tuck your chin towards your chest, pull the tailbone down and underneath you for your cat pose. As you inhale, draw the shoulders towards each other and find your cow pose. Eyes look up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, find your cat pose. Really articulating through the spine, pushing through your shoulder blades. Find your cow pose. Now I want you to just move here in this space, playing around with all different segmentations of your spine as you choose. Take one more round here, wherever you are. Now I want you to tuck all 10 toes behind you. And imagine yourself going into that cow pose as you slowly push up through the arms, articulating that spine, finding downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out through the feet. And just get a couple of movements in to settle into your steady downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Beautiful work. Keep your heels lifted as you create a slight bend into the legs. Really gripping through the earth with those fingertips, drawing your tailbone up towards the sky. Notice how the sensation changes, feeling the back line of your legs. And from here, we're going to take a couple of spinal waves. So I want you to lower your chest down towards your knees, creating that turbo dog shape. And on your next breath in, straighten the legs. Spinal wave your body forward, bypassing through high plank pose. Drop your knees down. Think cow pose as you move through child's pose. From your child's pose, round out through your spine, your upper back, mid back, low back. Tuck all 10 toes behind you as you push up through the arms into downward facing dog. Inhale to bend the legs. Spinal wave your body forward piece by piece into high plank pose. Drop the knees down, bypassing through child's pose. Rounding down from the upper back, mid back, low back. Tuck all 10 toes behind you. Use the strength of your arms to lift up into downward facing dog. Now I want you to take several rounds of these spinal waves at your own pace. Perhaps even close the eyes again just to really move through the movement at your own pace and at your own rhythm. So inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs, spinal wave forward. You know exactly where to go. So I'm going to cue you very minimally here, allowing you to move in your space, in your own pace. Staying connected. Staying rooted in your foundation. Now, wherever you are, take one last round and we'll meet in downward facing dog. On your next breath in, go ahead and walk your hands towards your feet into a gentle forward fold Uttanasana. Keep a slight bend into your legs so you can really solidify that connection between your belly and your thighs. On your next inhale, halfway lift. Imagine yourself looking over a cliff, long spine. Exhale to fold down, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale to fold. On your next breath in, root to rise. Thinking about that articulation of the spine, go up slowly, one vertebrae at a time, into your Tadasana. Beautiful work. Take a moment to just feel grounded through the feet in your Tadasana. Standing tall and solitary like the mountain. On your next breath in, right knee goes up high towards the chest. Feeling that hip flexion here. I want you to bring that right leg behind you this time. And I want you to press the tops of your right foot down behind you, keeping your hips squared forward. I want you to just gently push the ground away with the top of your right foot, using the toes. And just feel that sensation here. If it gets a little too intense, feel free to bend that right knee. Totally your choice. This is a great way to get into the ankles, because it's always important to get into those ankles. And your ankle mobility directly affects your hip mobility. And we're here for 3 more breaths. Breathe comfortably. Beautiful. On your next inhale, bring that right knee up high towards the chest. Notice if you feel more stable or whether that right leg is lifting higher than your first try. Beautiful. Right foot meets the left. Inhale, your left knee draws up high towards the chest. Notice how this hip flexion feels on your left leg. Now I want you to bring that left foot just directly behind you, just to tap the top of that left foot down, pressing the toes, the tops of those toes down into the earth behind you. Can you square off through the hips as you create this sensation? And we'll take 5 breaths here. Really stretching out through the ankles and creating a strong foundation for where we're headed to next. Again, feel free if this sensation is too intense to bend that left leg. So just breathe into your space. Beautiful. Take one last breath wherever you are. And on your next inhale, draw that left leg up high towards the chest. Notice if there's any difference with that lift off. And whenever you're ready, left foot meets the right. Swivel your feet a little bit wider towards the sides of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up high towards the sky. Exhale, shift your hips back into space, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale, flatten your spine. On your exhale, lower down on to your Malasana. And in this Malasana, I want you to just shift side to side, really getting into the hips. Maybe take a couple of bounces. I like to get into my hips this way. Just creating some movement here. But feel free to shift side to side, exploring your own movement in this space, in your container. Then on your next breath in, find your Malasana. Think long spine. Exhale, straighten up both legs, fold. Inhale, lower down into your Malasana. Let your eyes look up towards the ceiling. Exhale to fold. Inhale lowers you down into Malasana. Look up. Exhale, straighten both legs, fold. Inhale lowers you down into your Malasana. On your exhale, fold forward, driving your hamstrings towards the back of the room. Swivel the feet in towards each other. And walk your hands out towards the top of your mat to find your downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. And an exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Bottom of your exhale, wave your spine forward into high plank pose. Slowly lower down onto your belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Place your left hand at the 10 o'clock direction and your right hand at the 2 o'clock direction for oscillating cobra. Really think about those spinal waves as you focus on segmenting through the spine. On your inhale, lift up through the belly. And on your exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting up through the belly to rise. Exhale lowers you down. Inhale to rise. Exhale lowers you down. On your next inhale, rise. Pause at the very top. Exhale to release. Locust pose. Draw your arms behind you, thumbs pointing up towards the sky. On your next inhale, find your elevation here. Reach out through the toes. Reach towards the back of the room with your hands. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, place your hands directly underneath your chest. Your journey to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, bend your legs, lower your chest down towards your knees. Inhale, think spinal wave forward. This time come into a modified side plank using your right leg as a kickstand to take you there. Roll your right shoulder blade down the back body, creating that stability into the shoulders. From here, I want you to draw big, big circles using that left shoulder, perhaps even cactus opening up through the arms. But at the same time, really corkscrewing that right shoulder in its place. Go ahead and switch directions and explore what's there for you. Take one last big circle here. From your modified Vashisthasana, go ahead and plant the left hand down. Cruise back into your downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Spinal wave your body forward. This time coming into a modified Vashisthasana onto the left side. So I want you to first roll that left shoulder blade down the back body. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. Then from here, draw those big, big, big circles using that right shoulder to lead the way. Maybe even cactus opening up through the arms, but staying stable into that left shoulder. Wherever you are, switch directions, letting this movement come from that right shoulder, maintaining that integrity into the back body, feeling the glutes active and engaged here. Take one last round wherever you are. On your next breath in, plant your right hand down. Cruise back into your downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Spinal wave your body forward. This time roll onto your right side for a Vashisthasana side plank. Can you roll that right shoulder blade down the back body? Then on your next inhale, I want you to bend through the legs, lower your hips towards the back of your mat. As you exhale, reach back into that Vashisthasana. Option to place your left arm overhead, or feel free to just cactus that left arm. Inhale, lower down towards the back of the mat. Exhale to cactus wide open. Inhale, lower down towards your legs, strong legs here. Exhale, expand. This time as you inhale to bend through your legs. As you exhale, I want you to bring that right knee to tap that right arm or right tricep. As it taps, go ahead and reach through that right leg as you lower down into a straddle-like position. Go ahead and just frame your left arm and take a couple of bounces up and down, just getting into the movement of that left hip, creating this compression. Now, whenever you're ready, take an inhale to prepare. I think you know what's coming. On your exhale, I want you to lift this left leg up. Try to maintain a strong push through the fingertips or to the hands. We're here for 3, 2, on 1. Lower that left leg down. Beautiful work. That's tough stuff. Go ahead and plant your right hand down and bypass through fallen triangle here. Really breathing into that left lung, expanding through the heart. On your next breath in, allow your right knee to float to tap the right tricep. 3-legged dog, the right leg lifts. Look forward. Step your right foot to the outside of the right hand. Drop your left knee down. Feel free to come up onto your fingertips or just come onto the palms. But I want you in this low lunge to reach your heart forward. Reach through the collarbones. Look towards your potential. And as you exhale, kick off through that right heel into Ardha Hanuman, half splits. We're going to create some dynamic movement here. So I want you to dig through that right heel to bring you back into that low lunge. On your exhale, Ardha Hanuman, half splits. Inhale, maybe you spinal wave into that low lunge. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Inhale, Low lunge. Reach through your collarbones. From here, I want you to tuck your left toes behind you, only to rise up. Lift that left leg up away from the earth into this runner's lunge or lizard's lunge. Go ahead and shift forward and back. Again, getting into the ankles here. Take another solid inhale here. Beautiful. As you exhale, find your modified pyramid pose. Option to use your right arm or right hand to reach towards your left ankle. Can you really drive and twist through the upper thoracic spine? Take another breath in. On your next exhale, come into a high horizon lunge. Roll onto the outer blades of both feet. Roll that left shoulder down the back body, creating that stable foundation. Can you roll that left hip underneath your right? Beautiful. On your next inhale, Skandasana. Don't worry if your Skandasana isn't at a deeper expression. Just really drive through that right knee. Focus on maintaining a nice long spine. Your Skandasana can also be a Cossack squat. It's totally your choice here. Beautiful. Take another inhale. On your exhale, plant your left hand down. Reach your right arm up towards the sky, twist. From this twist, I want you to bring that right forearm down to the inside of that right arm just to tap the earth. As you inhale to reach that right arm up. Exhale brings it to tap on the earth. Stay strong in that back left leg as you reach up towards the sky with that right arm. One more time, just like that. Beautiful work. Reach up on your inhale. On your next exhale, come into a modified side angle pose. Using that left leg as a kickstand here. Feel free to get some movement into the right hip. I often find that this feels really good for my hips. But after you've gotten a couple of movements in, I invite you to find your stable side angle pose. Stay long into the side bodies here. Beautiful work. On your next breath in, plant the left hand down. Tuck the left foot behind you. We're only going to bypass through this runner's lunge just to use the left arm to kick us up, bypassing through a wide stance, clicking the heels in, and finding a goddess pose. Think long spine in your goddess pose, pulling that tailbone down underneath you. Really spread out through the knees. Perhaps you even bring your hands into your thighs and press against your hands. Beautiful. This is hard work. You're doing great. Then on your next breath in, click the heels out. Reach your arms up high towards the sky, engaging your glutes. On your exhale, arms reach a T position, hinging from the hips. Try to look over that cliff as you hold this. Take another breath in. On your exhale, wide leg forward fold. Take a moment here to process, to reintegrate through your breath. Beautiful work on your next breath in, using the strength of your legs to come up to stand. From here, swivel on both feet to take you towards the back of the mat into a high crescent lunge. Focus on squaring off through the hips here. Reaching up through the sky, can you square off and make sure that that right hip isn't hiking over the left? Can you drive your right heel behind you? Take one last inhale here. Beautiful. On your breath out, plant both palms down. Three-legged dog, the left leg lifts, look forward. On your next breath in, pull your way into upward facing dog. Exhale, cruise back. Push off through the arms into downward facing dog. Beautiful, beautiful work. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Bottom of your exhale, roll into that spinal wave, bypassing through high plank pose. This time coming up to Vashisthasana on the left arm here. Take a breath in and a breath out, just to solidify, really lifting up through the hips, engaging your glutes. On your next inhale, lower your glutes towards your heels. Exhale, option to reach your right arm overhead or to cactus that right arm up. Inhale, lower it down, find your own rhythm. Exhale, Vashisthasana. Inhale, lowers you down. Exhale, Vashisthasana. One more time for good measure. Inhale, lowers you down. Take the weight away from that left wrist. Exhale, Vashisthasana. Awesome work. From here, I want you to really push up through that left arm as you lower down. To tap that left knee up high towards left tricep, only to extend that left leg out. Find a seat. Go ahead and pulse over this right leg. Getting some ballistic movement. I invite you to just explore how you're feeling in this space. As you know what's coming up next. Frame the outside of your right knee. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, either point or flex the foot, whichever is great for you, to lift it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, release. Beautiful work. Plant your left arm down. Sweep your right arm across as you lift up into your fallen triangle shape. Breathe into the side bodies. Roll that left shoulder blade down the back body. Feel that shoulder stability here. On your next inhale, drag that left heel towards you so you can float that left leg up, just to tap that left arm into three-legged dog, the left leg lifts. Bend your left leg, look forward. Exhale to step your left foot to the outside of left hand. Lower your right knee down and find this low lunge. Can you pull your chest and collarbone forward? From here, kick off through that left heel as you find your Ardha Hanumanasana. Flex your left foot towards your face. Now creating this similar movement, similar rhythm as your spinal waves, go ahead and teeter between Ardha Hanuman and that low lunge. Find that connection between the inhales and the exhales. And wherever you are, take one last round. Beautiful. Either stay onto your fingertips or plant both palms down. As you tuck the right toes underneath you, really drive through that right heel to lift off through that right knee. Beautiful work. Shift yourself forward and back, really getting into the ankles if you wish. Beautiful. On your next exhale, find your modified pyramid pose. Focus on the fold of your hips here. Option to take your left hand to reach back towards that right ankle. Notice where the sensation changes here. Can you keep flexing that left foot? Beautiful work. On your next inhale, roll on the outer blades of both feet into high horizon lunge. Roll that right shoulder blade down the back body. Can you drive up through that right hip? Wonderful work. On your next exhale, swivel over and find your Skandasana. Feel free to sit low or stand up high. Just focus on creating a long spine, driving out through that left leg. Take another breath in and a breath out. Beautiful. On your next inhale, plant your right hand down. Reach up and twist. Left arm leads the way. From here, we're going to draw that left forearm down onto the earth and then reach it up. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, open up, expand. Inhale, lowers it down. Exhale to expand. From here, it takes a bit of coordination, but I want you to lower down onto your right leg, just as a kickstand for that modified side angle. Shift your weight forward and back, maybe digging through that left heel to guide you there. I always love these ballistic movements into the hips, especially since it undoes all that sitting down that we do on a day-to-day basis. Now I want you to find your stable side angle, your modified side angle. Focus on lengthening out through the side bodies. Can you breathe here? Beautiful work. On your next inhale, right hand plants down. Tuck your right toes underneath you just to lift the right leg up. Push off through the right hand into your goddess pose straight away. Keep driving out through the knees. Keep reaching your tailbone down towards your mat. Breathe here. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Click the heels out. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Engage your glutes. Then make your arms form a T-like shape. As you hinge from the hips, hold this T position. Explore your relationship with gravity here. Think long spine. Take one last inhale here. On your exhale, fold down. Take a moment to just breathe. Beautiful work. On your next inhale, use the strength of your legs and your glutes to drive you up to stand. Swivel on both feet, now facing back towards the top of the mat. Sweep your arms up high towards the sky into high crescent lunge. Can you square off through the hips? Feeling the length. Can you try to focus on drawing the tailbone underneath you, feeling that sensation into the left hip? On your next exhale, plant both palms down. 3-legged dog, the right leg lifts, look forward. Inhale, pulls your way through into upward facing dog. Exhale, push through the arms, downward facing dog. We're going to pick up the pace here. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Bottom of your exhale, spinal way forward into Vashisthasana onto the right arm. This time I want you to bend through your legs, lower your glutes down towards your heels, and spring that right knee to tap your right tricep. Kick that right leg out as you find a seated stance. From here, I want you to frame your left knee with your palms or your fingertips. Exhale to lift up. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Beautiful work. Plant your right hand down. Reach up. Swing over into your fallen triangle shape. Find your expression. On your next breath in, drive that right knee up high towards the right tricep. Plant your left hand down. 3-legged dog, the right leg lifts. Bend your right leg just to step that right foot to the outside of right hand. From here, straight away into that runner's lunge. Take an inhale. On your exhale, modified pyramid pose, perhaps your right arm reaches towards your left ankle here. On your next breath in, high horizon lunge. Inhale, swivel over on both feet into Skandasana. Find your expression of your Skandasana. Remember, you could come up high just like this, just as long as you maintain a nice long spine. Take another inhale. On your next exhale, twisted lunge, plant the left hand down, reach your right arm up, twist. On your next breath in, Solidify your stance, coordinate, swivel on that left foot, and find your side angle pose, reaching that left arm up and over. Can you roll that left hip down as you plug that right hip back in, creating that expansive breath into the right lung? Beautiful work. Now I want you to push off through that right hand into your goddess pose. Solidify your stance. On your next breath in, straighten out through the legs, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold down. Maintaining this long stance here. We're not going to fold all the way down. Just maintain it right here. And on your next inhale, stand up. Swivel to face towards the back of your mat into your high crescent lunge. On your exhale, plant both palms down. Three-legged dog, the left leg lifts, look forward. Bend through your arms as you inhale to pull your way into upward facing dog. Exhale, push through the arms, downward facing dog. No pause here. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Bottom of your exhale, spinal wave forward into your Vashisthasana onto the left arm. Inhale to lower down towards your heels. As you exhale, that left knee taps, left tricep. Kick the left leg out, find a seat. Frame your right knee with your fingertips or your palms. Take another inhale here. On your exhale, drive that right leg up for 3, 2, on 1. Release that right leg. Good job. Plant your left hand down. Push off through the heels, push off through that left hand as you find your fallen triangle expression. Draw that left leg towards you, just to tap that left knee onto left tricep. Plant your right hand down as you find three-legged dog, the left leg lifts. Bend your left leg. Think spinal wave forward to step your left foot to the outside of left hand into that low runner's lunge. Take an inhale. On your exhale, reach towards that right ankle with your left hand. See what's there. On your next inhale, high horizon lunge, roll on the outer blades of both feet. On your next breath out, Skandasana, swivel on your toes, swivel on your ankles. Find your expression that's uniquely your own. On your next breath in, plant your right hand down. Twist your chest open towards the left side. Expand. Take another inhale just to swivel on your feet and find your side angle pose. Awesome work. Can you roll that right hip up as you plug that left hip back in underneath you? Really breathing into your left lungs. Breathing into your heart. Now get the strength from your left leg to push you out of it. Click your heels in. Exhale, goddess pose. Beautiful work. Goddess pose, horse stance. The choice is yours. On your next inhale, click the heels out. Reach your arms into a T-like shape. Hinge from your hips. Maintain that flat spine as you look over that cliff, that imaginary cliff in front of you. Staying tall through the crown of your head. Beautiful work. On your next breath in, come up to stand. Now facing towards the top of the mat, swivel on both feet. Find your high crescent lunge. Keep drawing back through that left heel. Squaring up through the hips, beautiful work. On your next exhale, plant both palms down. Three-legged dog, the right leg lifts. Look forward. Bend through your arms. Inhale, pulls your way into upward facing dog. Exhale, pushing off through the arms, downward facing dog. We've got one last round. Remember to go at your own pace, go at your own rhythm. You could always rewind, hit the pause button, take a sip of water. This is your practice to enjoy, to find your rhythm and groove. On your next inhale, lift through the heels, bend through the legs. Spinal wave your body forward into Vashisthasana onto the right arm. Lower down towards your heels. Bring that right knee to tap, right tricep. Kick that right leg out. Option to lift this left leg up, or for those of you who want to try to take that lift off, go ahead. You want to frame your left thigh with both hands. Push through the ground and through your shoulders as you lift up for 3, 2, on 1. Awesome work. Plant your right hand down. Fall in triangle on your inhale. On your exhale, right knee taps, right tricep. Left hand plants, 3-legged dog, the right leg lifts. Bend through your right leg to step the right foot to the outside of right hand into that runner's lunge. Beautiful, beautiful work. On your exhale, right hand reaches towards the left ankle. Modified pyramid pose. Inhale, high horizon lunge. You know exactly where we're going. Don't doubt yourself. Exhale, skandasana. Find your expression. Stay strong in your foundation. On your next inhale, twisted lunge. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. On your next breath out, swivel on the back left heel as you find your side angle. Can you roll that left hip down as you plug that right hip back and underneath you? On your next breath in, find a wide stance. Click your heels in into goddess pose. Breathe here. Now click the heels out, reach your arms into a T-like position. Remember to hinge from the hips. We're only going to be here for one breath. So exhale as you lower down. Inhale, rise up. Face towards the back of the mat as you find your high crescent lunge. Beautiful work, everyone. This time, thumbs at the base of the neck. Inhale to reach back to a place you cannot see. Plant both palms down, 3-legged dog, the left leg lifts. Bend through the arms as the inhale takes you to upward facing dog. Exhale, push through the arms, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the heels, bend the legs. Bottom of your exhale, wave forward into Vashisthasana. Lower your knees down. Lower your hips towards your heels. On your exhale, left knee taps left tricep. Kick that left leg out. Find a seat. Option to just lift through this right leg or to lift up through your seat. Frame your right thighs with your hands. And on your exhale, lift up. Hold it here for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work. Plant your left hand down. Rise up into your fallen triangle. Beautiful. Bring your left knee to tap, left tricep. Right hand plants down. 3-legged dog, your left leg lifts. Bend your left leg. Step your left foot to the outside of left hand for that runner's lunge. Exhale, left hand reaches towards that right ankle. Inhale, high horizon lunge. Beautiful. Exhale, skandasana swivel. Inhale, plant your right hand down, reach and twist your left arm up towards the sky. Stay strong and stable in your foundation. Swivel on your back right heel as you make your way and integrate your side angle. Roll that right hip down as you plug that left hip back and underneath you. On your next breath in, rise up to stand. Click your heels in, sit your hips low. Goddess pose, everyone's favorite. On your next breath in, click the heels out. Let your arms form a T-like shape. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge from the hips like you're looking over that imaginary cliff. Inhale to rise, moving and facing towards the top of the mat. Sweep your arms up high towards the sky, high crescent lunge. Inhale, thumbs to the base of the skull. Reach back to a place that you cannot see. Plant both palms down. 3-legged dog, the right leg lifts. Look forward. Bend through the arms as your inhale takes you into upward facing dog. Exhale takes you back, downward facing dog. Well done. Take 5 breaths in your downward facing dog. Lean into the cooling effects of the inhales and the heat of every exhale. On your next breath, then lift through the heels, bend the legs. Spinal wave your body forward, piece by piece. Slowly lower down onto your belly for 10. Keep resisting the ground away. 8, 7, 6, 5. You're looking over that cliff. 4, 3, 2, on 1. Beautiful work here. Coming back home into oscillating cobra. Set yourself up. On your next inhale, lift up through the belly. Exhale lowers you down. Like a wave in the ocean, inhale to rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Pause at the very top. Maybe you challenge yourself for a moment. See what happens when you lift up that pinky finger, the ring finger, the middle finger, the index finger. Lift up through the thumb, straight away into locust pose. Find your elevation. Release. Feel free to drop your left ear onto the earth. I would do so myself, but I'm afraid about my microphone getting in the way. So go ahead and just give yourself a moment to breathe here. For our next heart-opening shape, you have two options here. You could either take that locust pose, or for those of you who want to take bow pose, I want you to squeeze your heels into your glutes, just creating that active shape. Then reach back through the arms. Take an inhale to roll your shoulder blades down the back body. Keep them there. And on your exhale, kick up through the feet. Kick up high towards the sky. Let your eyes look up towards your eyelids. Breathe into the shape. For 3, 2, on 1. Release. Child's pose. Shift your hips back into space. And just take a moment here to reintegrate into your breath. And take inventory of all the energy shifting in your container. Feel free to stay in your child's pose. A couple of options here besides child's. Feel free to find a dolphin pose or any inversion of your choice between traditional headstand or a Pincha Mayurasana forearm stand. For those of you who want to take Pincha Mayurasana, tuck all 10 toes behind you. Walk your feet in until you feel like your hips are directly over your shoulders. Using little momentum as possible, lift up. Push through your forearms. Find your balance for 3, 2, on 1. Release. Sit onto your heels or on your shins, or feel free to use the block to elevate your seat. Take a moment to sit upright and just allow the blood to flow down into your body. Reconnect to the natural rhythm of your breath. Blink your eyes open whenever you're ready. We're going to do another round of inversions, just because we built so much shoulder stability in that flow, in that one continuous flow. So whatever inversion is calling to you, I invite you to answer that call and take it. Either Sirsasana or Pincha Mayurasana, it's totally your choice. Remember to keep pushing off through your forearms and creating that external rotation of your shoulders. And take as much time as you need. You can drop the gaze if you're comfortable. We're here for 3, 2, on 1. Slowly sit on the backs of your heels or onto your shins. Find an upright, seated position. Just to allow the blood flow to come down from the head and into the body. Beautiful work. Whenever you're ready, I invite you to come back into that child's pose. Tent the fingertips up. And just let your chest hang heavy. Breathe into your belly, your side body, your back body, creating that 3D-like sensation of the breath. And whenever you're ready, grip through the fingertips as you do one final spinal wave forward onto your belly here. And find a gentle Sphinx pose, bringing the forearms down onto the earth. Can you just reach your collarbones forward, staying heavy into the hips? Maybe even closing your eyes if you so wish. Then whenever you're ready, come on down to your belly. Bring your left arm into a T-like position so that your left fingers are in line with your left shoulder. Drop your left ear down into the earth, using your right fingers or your right palm to just frame your chest as you kick that right foot up towards the sky. Big external rotation of that right leg as you bring the right foot over to try to reach towards that left wrist. Don't worry if it doesn't reach. You just want that action of that reach and that twist. Breathe into your shoulders. Breathe into the triceps, the biceps. On your next inhale, return back to center. This time we're going to switch sides so that the right arm comes into that T-like shape. Bring your left hand to frame your chest. Drop your right ear down into the earth. Maybe focus your gaze on the dust underneath your desk or your furniture. But first I want you to flex your left foot and kick that left foot up towards the sky. Now big, big, big external rotation of that left hip just to bring that left foot to try to reach your right wrist this time. Don't worry if it doesn't touch. You just want that action of the reach. Now just breathe here. Breathe into your biceps, your triceps, your shoulders. And just take a moment to slow your energy down here. We're chilling. All the hard work is done. Wherever you are, return back to center. Then from here, just begin the journey onto your backs. However you choose to get there is totally up to you. And if you have any props or blankets or bolsters, use them to your own desires. As you roll down slowly onto your back body, allow the legs to be heavy here for a moment. Flip your palms up towards the sky. Embracing your relationship with gravity. Feeling the heaviness of your body into the earth. As you melt into your Shavasana. Whenever you're ready, roll into a tiny shape in the right side of your mat. Just slowly pick your way up into an easy, comfortable, seated position. Take a deep inhale. And an exhale, sigh it all out. Let it go. We'll take an inhale together. And on our exhale, chant the closing Om to close off our practice. Deep inhale. Om. As always, it was beautiful to share this practice with you. Wherever in the world you may be, please drop a comment below to say hi. I would love to hear from you. And I look forward to sharing space and practicing with you sometime soon. I hope that you are having an amazing day or evening wherever you are. Thank you once again for showing up for yourself, for showing up to practice, to rising up to the challenging moments, and to let yourself go into the moments of expansion. I bow down to you and all of your efforts. Thank you.